We're rolling.
Welcome everyone to the Berwick Community Podcast. Today we're joined by Dave Young from the Cross Point Church in Cranbourne. We're going to chat about faith, community, life's challenges, hope, and the important role connection plays in today's world. So thanks for joining us, Dave.
Oh, no worries, John. Thanks for the invitation. It's the first for me, so thank you.
Yes, that's great, Dave. Just tell us a bit about yourself and your journey.
Well, so I was born, actually born in Papua New Guinea. My parents worked with a missionary organisation up there. So first 13 years of my life I was sort of in between Australia and PNG. And then, moved around a lot with parents, and then been in the Berwick area since 2001. And enjoying life down here.
So you're born in Papua New Guinea,
Yes.
and your parents were helping.
Yeah, Dad was a pilot. I flew in flying Cessnas in a light aircraft, especially in 1968 or into the 70s. PNG is very inaccessible. The only way you can get into the mountains is by, there's no roads or anything. So aircraft were very important, and so Dad was flying food, medical emergencies, all that kind of thing. It was all dependent on aircraft. Dad was flying planes up there.
And Mum, what was she?
No, she just a full-time housewife. Me, my brother, and my sister, and obviously helping. Again, when there's medical emergencies, that brings back families as well and stuff. We're always staying over, so we always have guests for dinner or for overnight.
Yeah. So you got a brother and a sister, all
Yes.
born in Papua New Guinea.
And then my brother was. My sister was actually born back in Melbourne.
Yeah.
So she would have been born in PNG, but Dad got cancer, and we had to come back in a big hurry. So he had multiple malignant melanomas, so they sent him home back in Melbourne in a hurry. So my sister was actually born in Oxford Hospital while Dad was also in hospital having his surgery.
Now, you must be a pretty smart man, because you have to be smart to fly a plane. I mean, I wouldn't know how to turn it on. How do you turn a plane on? Okay.
I can't fly one myself. My dad was an incredibly smart man. In fact, he was not only a pilot, he was an aircraft licensed aircraft mechanic as well.
Yeah.
And he was the only avionics that were the aircraft radios, which are obviously vitally important. At the time, Dad was the only guy in the company licensed to fix those. So Dad was a very smart man. Yeah. He must have given the chance to the other kids though.
So did your dad kick the wheel of the tyre every time on an aeroplane?
Yeah.
If there's plenty of air in the tyre?
Yeah, no, it's all good. And then he'd say, get in and say, clear the prop, make sure no one's in their way before you start up and everything. Yeah. So I was really fortunate as a kid. For me, going flying with Dad was just second nature. And then you get to high school and other kids had never been in an aeroplane.
Yeah.
Wow, I was pretty fortunate.
So he took you up in the air. Did you fly the plane at all? Or?
Not when I was little, but occasionally older, he'd let me, put the compass, just keep it on that heading and let me hold it for a minute, and then after about 30 seconds I'd be off course and he'd just take it back.
You have to hold the compass right there.
I sort of fixed on the dashboard, but I prefer just looking out the window enjoying this.
So you were over there, born over there, and then your dad got the cancer.
Yes.
And came back to Melbourne for treatment.
Yes, that's
And
right.
then at the same time, your sister was born.
Yeah, that's right.
Gee, it was
It was a very eventful time. It was very stressful for Mum especially, thinking, she thought she was going to lose Dad. The medical report, they thought there was only a 5% chance he'd live for 2 years. That was 1974, Dad's still alive. So, Mum, just had her third child, and when she's going to lose her husband, it must have been pretty tough. I was too young to understand. Probably I was only 6, so I didn't really understand the significance and the gravity of what was going on. I knew I was pulled out of one school and ended up living in
exciting, and then you got your partner or your husband potentially passing away. Did you say he's still alive?
Yes, he is. Yes. So yeah, a couple of weeks, well, they did the surgery, did what they could. Basically told Jake's bosses that, you know, he had about 2 weeks to live. There was nothing they could do. And yeah, a couple of weeks went by and Dad went back for a checkup and the cancer was gone. And, you know, obviously they worked for, like, it was a mission organisation. Lots of people would have been praying for them and everything, and we just believe God just healed him, and I'm so grateful because, you know, would have grown up without a dad. And, yeah, so, and yeah, anyway, very blessed.
The power of prayer.
Yes.
So it does work.
Oh,
It
yes.
works with yourself, with your family. That's quite amazing.
Yes.
And you're still here today.
Yes, he is. Like he's 87 and his memory's fading and his health, but yeah, he's still going, and I'm just so blessed to have a dad. Yeah, it's all right.
So you come back to Melbourne.
Yes. Oh, actually, we settled in Berwick then for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So my teenage years were spent in Berwick in my 20s.
Yeah. And you went to school over there at Ballarat.
Yes.
And then you came over this side, because that's where I first met you, probably about 15, 20 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
No? I think I cut your hair back at
Yes. Yeah,
back
that's right.
there.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Yeah. So, so what sort of work did you do? So you did your schooling and then
Well, yes. So, straight out of school, I tried uni and carpet cleaning and worked in a factory and tried a few things. And then I worked in a Christian bookshop in Berwick for about 13 years and really loved that. Then we moved down to Melbourne and I used to sell books in schools and again enjoyed that. And it got to about, in 2010 actually, I guess I've known for a while that God wanted me to eventually become a minister. And got to 2010 and I wasn't enjoying the job I was with, and you know, it just felt like it was time to open up to Bible college to start preparing to become a minister.
yeah.
And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Yeah. So I know we talked earlier, so didn't sort of wake up one morning and had a dream and I've got to be a minister. So it was sort of something that you brought up with religion.
Yes. So we always went to church. Apparently, when I was a kid, I don't remember this, but apparently I told Mum when I was a kid that when I grew up I'd be a minister.
Oh, wow.
But then, when I was at high school, if you told me that I'd probably stand up in front of people and talk, I would, not in a million years. But yeah, we got involved in just helping out at the church we were at, and yeah, it was just very gradual. I sort of realised because I wanted to serve God with my life, and I like people. I can get along pretty well with most people, and just realised that that's what God wanted me to do, and it was pretty scary at first, but yeah, I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Probably quite frightening getting up in front of people and all these eyes staring at you.
Oh yes, yeah. The first couple of times, I often the heart would just be going psycho just before you stand up, and my wife Tracy always be like. So yeah, it is pretty scary, but you get used to it after a while.
Yeah. And I know, I think one of your first chats, or when you're on the altar, don't call it an altar in the Baptist.
Just the stage.
I was there and you did quite well. To me, you felt like you'd done it all your life, the chats, and quite entertaining and funny. And we were just saying earlier, if you can see a bit of the funny side of things, laughter, it's quite a nice thing. And I was living off every word. You described sort of the ball and the surf with that big, and we're smaller than that. So I always remember that day.
Oh no, thank you.
So we're down in Beaconsfield for a while. So you decided, so you did Bible studies.
Yes.
How long does that go for?
So it was a 3-year course. It took me 4 years because I was halfway through when we were going to Beaconsfield Baptist, and then they needed a youth pastor, so they actually came and asked me if I'd be happy to do it. And I was like, Yes, please. So then I cut back to start studying part-time and working part-time, so, the last couple of years.
Yeah. And so at Beaconsfield there. Now,
Yeah.
you're there for a while, was 8 years or so? Or?
Yes, we've been going, yes. Yeah, we went there for about 8 years. I was on staff for about 3 and a bit years. And, it was really good. It was great being able to start, and I already knew the church, I already knew the people. Just much easier than coming in cold kind of thing.
Yeah.
So which is like the church I'm at now, Crosspoint, which is actually in Pride North now. We started at Cranbourne now in Pride North, but yeah, that way it's a bit hard. You've got to get to know everyone, and every church has its own style and culture. You've got to get to know all that.
Yeah.
And then COVID, that hit too. That was a challenge.
Yeah. So you went to Crosspoint Church in Cranbourne. Was that new, just started, or?
No, that was an existing church, and they were looking for a pastor, and I was sort of looking for a new opportunity. So they interviewed me and offered me the job.
So you're in there since?
Yeah. So that was end of 2019. And offered the job and started in February of 2020.
Okay. And how are you enjoying that?
Oh yes, it's really good. It's had its moments because, like as you would probably remember, 2020 was the year we all went into lockdown. So I had about 5 Sundays, with the church, and then we were locked down for 9 months. So that was
Yeah, the COVID rocked up.
Yeah, that was a challenge.
Yeah. So how did you go about that? That's when I started hearing about live streaming and these apps. What's another app that came out? And you can actually watch it on TV.
Yes.
All these sort of things. So
Yes, and having meetings on Zoom and all that kind of
Zoom.
stuff. That was all new to me as well, and we had to sort of try and figure all that out. So we never did live streaming. We just didn't have the technology or the money to set that up. But we could record things and then just put them on YouTube for people to watch.
yeah.
So I tried to record it on a Friday and then upload it, and people could watch it Sunday morning or if they wanted, at church time,
Yeah.
or just whenever.
Yeah. You watch it.
Yeah.
So the COVID times, how did you find that yourself?
Yeah, look, it took a lot of getting used to. I was really fortunate because I had another part-time job in food rescue, which is I'm going to Aldi stores and picking up the food that would get thrown out. So that was considered an essential service. So I could go outside and go and travel, which was great. And then also people that I knew of who couldn't work, people who'd been, they just no longer able to work, self-employed people. So people would just give me names and addresses and say, can you drop a box of food in for this guy who's doing that time. So that was actually really, I learned to enjoy that time. You go to Aldi, sort all the food and then put it in the boxes and drop it off to people. It was actually really great. And my wife and kids were all at home, and strangely enough, I never got COVID, but I obviously picked it up and carried it home because my wife got it about 8 times. But,
Well, it's funny you say that, Dave, because I know in our household we all got COVID, bar my old man. He was about 82, 83, and he didn't want to get COVID, and he knocked around and he never picked up COVID, so which is great.
yes.
Funny how that some got it and some didn't, the COVID. How did you find people back then? Stress, or was it more stress on everyone, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, yes, it certainly was. And I guess people judge in different ways. My family was fortunate because we were just renting a house, but it was quite a big house, so we were all together, but everyone had their space at home. I had my office where I could go, and the kids all had their rooms, and yet we were under one roof, so we could all get together. So we were very fortunate. Other people who were alone or had just any relationships that were a bit rough to start with, that all the issues were magnified by being together 24/7. So we were very fortunate.
Yeah. I know a few friends of mine struggled with COVID, being on their own, couldn't go to work. I asked them what was the main sort of struggle, and really just being on their own and they couldn't communicate. We still had phones, but I know a friend of mine, he busted up with his missus just before that, and couldn't sort of catch up to sort of make amends. So it was tough in the food, work, your routine. I mean, we're all sort of, we like our routine. I think we thrive on routine.
Yes.
And then that got interrupted, and not knowing when we could get back to that. It was one of those things you never, when I spoke to people, just not knowing, no one knew because we didn't know where this was going to go.
It just kept going. And again, I've got a mate who, fairly early on in the lockdown, he suggested that, he and so two of my best mates, he said every Sunday night let's just have a Zoom call, and which was all new to me. But so that was, and we still do that, now every Sunday night we just jump on Zoom together. One he's in Frankston and other mates in Bairnsdale, so we a long way away, but that was a great way just to keep in touch. People just sit down and have a chat every Sunday, and that was a really good, healthy habit that one of my mates came up with.
And you still do that now?
Yeah, we still do. And after it all finished, we just enjoyed getting together and hanging out and chatting, so we just kept doing it.
And it's interesting negative things that I find all of a sudden can create the positive things. I know with the foundation we could do our events, so we thought we're going to do something, just something, what can we do? And we come up with the food. So from that, we said, let's get some food bins out. We're the same, we can still go within the area delivering the food.
Yes.
So from that time of the world or whatever, that's where the food came in place, and now it's a big part of the John Mack Foundation.
Yes.
And it's thriving. We just got some gold cat food the other day, so so from that's gone leaps and bounds. So we'll keep going that,
Yeah. And that's a real credit to you, John, and all of that foundation. And one of my previous jobs, you were just a really good supporter, and I want your listeners to know what great work you do in the community. And I've already said this to John, but I'll say to you all, one day I'm hoping John's to get interviewed here and telling us his life story. It'd be great to hear.
Yeah, well, being a Catholic boy, I tried my best and got together with a group of friends with the foundation, and I want to help. I see a fair few people struggling. So we started the fundraising, and just see where it takes us. And I think we're on 10 years now. 10 years we've been going. I thought of 1 year, 2 years, and 10 years, and it's evolved to. It's fascinating because it evolved from the fundraising, and then we thought, how can we get all the groups together? Start, and we did the fundraising, and with the money we donated on the night, so we sort of got all the groups in the one spot, and that was quite interesting because people started connecting up down this corridor here, and heaps come up saying, how can I help? Where are these places? And they can come to the show. They'll come to the show, and they were seeing the people personally saying where we're from, what we do, and so that was quite amazing. But it wasn't. I don't have any. I had the fundraising, but I didn't know how it was all going to connect up. I just thought the big boss is saying, "Here, John, you got to do this," and I just started doing it. It's like this podcast. Just go, John, you got to start the podcast. I don't know where it's going to lead to, but so far it's been fantastic. We're having some good chats and hearing people's stories.
Yeah.
So it's just quite amazing. I sort of,
Yeah. And even, like you said, just bringing people together, because often you'll be a person or a small group wanting to do something, but it's limited on their own, and then you get a bigger group together, working together, and then great things are possible. So.
Yeah. Well, you're one person, then it's more people around you. It's people say to me with what I do, I said, I'm only one person. I've got a big group of people around me that all want to, let's do it and let's try to help other people. So, which is great. So I'm one of many, and I find that fascinating because all this sort of thing that's happened. And then like people join in with our whatever, we've got the raffles and whatever we do, and musics, and yes. So how's the day in the life as a minister? I know I ran into you the other day at a coffee shop, and I think it was a Monday, and you're already preparing your sermon for the Sunday.
Yes, and I guess that's just a weekly thing, and you've always got different meetings, different catch-ups going on during the week. So in between time, try and do my reading and preparation, and often finish that till Saturday night about 10 o'clock or something.
Yeah.
But that's a part of the job. But we've got a few elderly people in church with some health issues, so you just try and just support them as best you can. And still got a wife, kids all at home. So
Wife and kids, yeah. So when you were doing getting it organised for the chat on the Sunday, do you know what you've got to chat about? Do you get like a criteria that this period we chat about this? And
so good question. And so some churches have it set out the whole year, every year with sort of the same routine, the same passage of the Bible that they might turn to. So the Baptist churches are not so much like that. So it's often just up to me to work that out. So you just pray and seek God's guidance. And sometimes I'll do a whole series through a book of the Bible, just a paragraph or a few verses, maybe a whole chapter at once. Other times you just pick a different thing. That's the worst thing if you get up on a Monday and you don't know what you're going to preach about. It's the worst thing. But I like to have a series because I've done this bit and in chapter 2, next week I'll start chapter 3. That's much easier because you just work your way through like that.
Yeah, get your preparation done for the weekend.
Yes.
I know when I seen you on the Monday, you were deep in thought already on Monday for the following Sunday. So and then you've got your own sort of way you look at things, that how you want to present it. Everyone's got their own personality, how they
Yes, and I do. You want your own personality, some stories from your own life for people that and a little bit of humour, a couple of jokes always helps. In fact, I was thinking of a joke before when we were, we're both probably getting older, so we might relate to this. So this guy went to the doctor and he said, "Doc, I've got a problem. It's not me, it's my wife. She's just going deaf. I talk to her and she just doesn't hear me anymore." And the doctor said, "Well, how deaf is she?" And the guy said, "How do you measure that?" The doctor said, "Look, when you get home, I want you to talk to her from a certain distance and see how close you have to get before she can hear you." And the guy said, "No worries, I'll get back to you." So he went home that night, and his wife was in the kitchen getting dinner. So he called out from the family bedroom. He called out, "Hey, honey, what's for dinner?" No answer. So we walked right up there into the hall just across the room and said, "Hey, honey, what's for dinner?" No answer. So we walked halfway across the dining room. "Honey, what's for dinner?" Still no answer. So we walked right up to the kitchen bench, right behind her. "Honey, what's for dinner?" She turned around and said, "For the 4th time, chicken."
This reminds me, we were just talking earlier, went to Mass this one time in Endeavour Hills, and the priest was there, and he came out and had a newsletter in his hand, and he goes, "I just want to apologise that we've ran out of newsletters for you today. We ran out of paper, we ran out of ink," and everyone, and I'm looking around thinking, well, I've got a newsletter in my head, and looked around and I thought, everyone else has got a newsletter. I didn't know what he meant. He goes, "Yeah, I know how much you really love reading the newsletter, especially when I'm doing the sermon." And I thought, I wonder how many times I look down and trying to get the attention, and they're looking at the newsletter and see what's going on during the week, or the form guide. But
That's a good one.
so, in your life, is there any people that you've met that been on troubled times, and God's turned their life around?
Yeah, definitely, and quite a few. And you mentioned that earlier. And so one story that really came to mind straight away. When I was at high school, my best mate was in year 10 was a guy called Tim, and Tim was like I'd always grown up in in church and stuff. Tim definitely not. And he was so we probably chalk and cheese in a way. We both liked the footy and the cricket, but he was pretty wild. And then after school we sort of lost track of each other, and then actually through Facebook, you know, 10 or 12 years ago, got this friend request from Timothy Kane. I don't know Tim Kane since high school. Anyway, it turns out it was him, and he'd gone through some real dramas in life. And actually had an accident, and got that might be it. But yeah, it all turned his life around, and he's given his life to God, and now it's just great talking to him on the phone, catching up with him, and just the change in him is just amazing. And he doesn't even like to look back at what he was before. He said, I'm a new man now. So yes, God can indeed turn lives around and bring joy and peace and happiness where there wasn't.
Yeah, and I know we were chatting a story myself about the lady who used to come in and one of the hair done, used to put a colour in her hair, and she wanted to sit right down the very back all the time. She'd come in smiling, and I'd take her down the back and put the colour on and leave her go. And then as soon as I left, I noticed her start crying and upset and teary. And I thought, what's wrong there? So as I got to know her, she had got divorced. For some reason she just wanted to get out of the area. She came in the Berwick area, had no friends, not looking to make any friends or find any path. It's just dark cloud came over her life, and I tried my best, is there any course you could do? Go down to Monash, there's got to be something, join some clubs. I had brochures that I could go give this one a ring and just go say hello, and just couldn't get her to do anything. And she was sort of depressed, I suppose, for a long time. And then one day, I couldn't personally do it, I tried, but one day she came in and I just knew something had happened, something lifted, positive. I thought, just lightness had come over this lady, and I said, how you going? I said, did you win Catslotto or something? I said, you changed. And she said, yeah, I've changed. She said, I found God. And I sat down and did her hair, and she was smiling and happy as she usually was. And then I left her and I looked over and she wasn't crying. And I was amazed. So all the years I tried to do something to get something going for her, I had no luck. And she found a great man, and then she was never cried since. And she said, John, this might be the last time you see me in a positive way. I'm moving back to my family. I'm catching up with all my friends, and whole life just changed. And I always remember she come to pay and she opened up a wallet and there was a picture of a great man, Jesus in the wallet. And just turned a lot around, that lady, and she went out and I wished her all the best, and I haven't seen her since. So, but I know the future for her was pretty bright. That's
really good, John. And obviously I grew up, Mum and Dad, we went to church all the time, so been a Christian as long as I've known how to be. And I know that some people don't believe in God or don't accept God. So it's difficult for me to relate, but certainly in my observations, in my experience, just putting your faith in God makes an enormous difference in life. And doesn't make life perfect. You and I both acknowledge that there's still have issues and challenges in your life, but it just gives us peace and purpose and a hope for the future. I wouldn't do without it for anything.
And even looking back on your father from years ago when you were told 2 years to live, and he's still alive today.
Yep. So again, I was pretty fortunate because growing up, your dad was living proof that God can answer prayer. So pretty amazing.
Yeah. So you're down at the church. What community events do you have down there?
So every Christmas we try to put on a community carol program, which always try to promote it and always get a few extra people along. And we don't have our own building; we just meet in a school. So we're always always on the lookout for other ideas and things that we can, just, ways to connect with the community and, and serve. I guess we're all here to serve and help and be a blessing to people like us. So, yeah.
And do you look forward to your Sundays every Sunday?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. I mean, obviously, sometimes it's a bit stressful doing all the preparation. But no, we've got a great group of people, genuinely feel like a big extended family, make good friends, and yeah, I really enjoy. I look forward to Sundays.
Now, outside church, what do you like to do? What do you like to do? What keeps you happy? What's a relaxing place?
Relaxing. So we just live in a rented house, but it's like a farmhouse on a few acres of land, so we look after some cows. So honestly, for me, relaxing is just at home on the porch on an rocking chair, sitting down. I feel like Darryl Carrigan in the house, the serenity. That's what I like to relax.
Yeah. Have you got cows?
Yeah, we just four cows that we actually the owners bought them, but we look after them, sort of a joint effort. Yeah, we enjoy that. So I feel like a hobby farmer as well on the side, which is good. And I like watching the footy. I follow the Hawks, so I've been had a few good years.
Had a few cheers lately.
It's been 10 years since that last premiership won in Cloud, mate. But no, it's been very had a good run, that's for sure.
Yeah. Do you ever look at little creatures? I know that I do this, and it might be an ant, and you think, how do you make an ant? I mean, and see the little legs going, and all these butterflies and that, and the butterfly comes out of a shell, not a shell, but whatever it is, a socket, like a sock.
Yes.
Comes out and then grows these wings and flies off. It's fascinating, all that stuff. I've always been fascinated. When you say cows, we had horses, and just the horse and the dogs. Have you got any animal? Got a cow?
We got a cat, a couple of guinea pigs, and a fish. We did have a hen. My daughter had a pet chicken, which was really cool, and she would just lunge you when you egg out of your hand, and she was great. But she got old.
What's the biggest life lesson that you might have learned?
Look, for me, trusting God. It's something that I've learned through life. There's a verse in the Bible in the book of Proverbs, trust in God with all your heart, and don't trust your own understanding. And that's to me, because what I think might be a good idea, and sometimes God just puts things in your way so it doesn't happen, and then you look back later and like, that wouldn't have worked out well. So that's for me, just God knows us, He knows the future, He knows all the other people involved in the situation, and so just learning to trust Him in all circumstances would be my most valuable lesson.
I know with myself, just think of an event I was going to do one day, and it was an outdoor event. I had it all lined up with the footy club and there's a tennis and cricket and all people. I was going for this outdoor event, and it didn't get off the ground. I was approached a few people and sort of fell on deaf ears, and I let it go. I thought, no, I can't just get this one going. It seems to be a tough one, and I just let it go. And I was curious. I had the date teed up, and I always remember following that date. Because I know a friend says, them outdoor events, if it rains, it's cancelled and all that. But I thought, I'll have a go. And I never did it. So we came to the date, it was 12 months later, and we had it was a sunshine leading up to all the years before. I come to the date and I just thought, just curious about the weather. Well, and I thought, the big boss is not working up and, not meant to be. And I came to that day, and it was the worst day, honestly. I drove down with a friend, and there was, I think City of Casey was had an event and it got cancelled and flying away, and I looked at the weather. They're not saying it would have happened if I did it, or like the sun would have been shining, but I was so thanked by so much, or my intuition or whatever it is that said let it go. And I looked at that date and was a shocking worst date. It would have been cancelled and would have been disastrous. So
A lot of effort
a lot of effort, and it would have cost a lot of money and things like that. So I sort of feel like anything negative comes in your life. I don't know, maybe it's just jobs, or you lost your job. It's just directing where to go. I mean, it's like get a fork in the road, I suppose, so that you can take in the next place to go.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes we all go through phases of life that we would never choose, that are pretty difficult, but then you can look back and the lessons you learned, or the places you end up because of that. I think actually God still had his hand in all that. He was nudging me in the direction, even though I didn't like what was going on at the time, but look back and think, he's still in control.
Yeah, it's all worked out. If someone was doing a tough day, what advice did you probably have a few come up and want to talk?
Yes, I do. Not as a church, but just mates and stuff like. Get one with people most of the time. So sometimes people need someone to unload on, and look, certainly from my own experience, like I said before, it's just learning to rely on God. And Tracy and I, we've had our share of challenges. Everyone has different challenges, and I'm very glad I haven't faced what other people have had to face. But other people look at us and think, gee, how do you deal with that? So God gave each of us what we can handle, and we just know without the confidence that God is in control and without faith, I don't know how we cope. So I know that may not be what everyone wants to hear, but that's certainly for me. I encourage people just put your faith in God, learn as much as you can about Jesus, and try to follow his teaching, and that works for me.
So, looking back so far, we're still on the young side. Younger than me.
My surname is Young, which is very handy. This is not a true story, but I like to tell people that when I proposed to Tracy, I said, how'd you like to be young for the rest of your life? And she said, that'd be great. And I said, well, marry me.
Well, so far so good, Dave.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So looking back on your journey, spiritual, you always believed in God. Did you? When you were really young, did you remember?
Something I always did. Just mum and dad, God was just part of their lives. What they were doing. We always went to church. But I do remember I was 17, and I just finished high school, and there was a big youth rally in Berwick. This speaker, and I went along to that, and I gave a challenge. If you want to give your life to Jesus, and come forward and try to do a counsellor, and I went.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's the night when I decided I'm not doing this just because mum and dad did. I'm committing my own life to this. So there was still a moment of decision, but I think I always believed in God. I always knew he was there.
And you made the decision. Once you made the decision, it started. Wrong. With all the sort of stuff going on in the world, past and now, and whatever in the future, there's a lot of sort of wars and different things. And you ever have time that you think, is there a God? Doubts, I suppose. Come on, why don't you sort it out? How do you think it is?
No, I don't personally doubt God. I guess he benefits my being how I look at things, and Jesus said, treat others the way you would like to be treated. And I look out in the world, and a lot of these wars, and people are not doing that. people treat others in ways that they would hate to be treated themselves. And I think if we all just said, okay, let's step back and chill. Yes, we've got our differences, but I'm going to respect your opinion just as I want you to listen to mine. And if we all did, as Jesus said, and treat others the way we would like to be treated, I think we'd probably be a much better place.
Now, the great man said he's coming back again today.
Yes.
When do you reckon he's coming back?
Oh, look, I have no idea. Some days I think, right now would be really good. But yeah, like I just got confidence in God that he'll pick the right moments in history. And the Bible tells us things are going to get worse. It'll be bad for a while, and then he'll come and it's all about misery. So yeah.
If you knew the date, Dave, I was just thinking I'd put a bet on it because it'd be big odds, wouldn't it? Imagine $1.
Yes.
Maybe it's been a while since 2000 years.
Yes.
Over
yes.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But see, if we knew the date, then people would just they wouldn't care about it until 5 minutes before it happens, And imagine now, if everyone was just out there living for the moment, whatever, living me, well, it would just be worse than it is, just chaos. And then, 5 minutes before the deadline, you'd all say, oh, well, it's all right, I'll sort myself out now.
Yeah.
I think it would be even worse if we actually didn't know.
There's a joke, I'll see if I can tell it properly. So Jesus, I think he might have been in Ireland. It always seems to be in Ireland, he's in Irish. Jesus walking down the street and said, oh, blimey, Jesus is here. Jesus has come back. Tell everyone Jesus is here. And so walks up and then, oh, tell everyone Jesus is here. And so runs up and goes, right, Jesus coming. Jesus on his way into town. Everybody start looking busy. I probably didn't say that really well, but anyway, the moral of the story is coming. Just everyone looked busy like a boss rocking up to work. So
Yes.
always remember that one. So, well, thanks, Dave. Just to, if you like questions, just in general, what do you have to drink? Do you have a wine or? I know I've got a wine here. You probably think it's from Bruce's wine, but it's from the cafe. You drink alcohol drinks or wine or coffee or teas or what?
I don't personally. Water. I do like Coke, but it's not good for the belly. But just try to stick with water or hot chocolate.
Yeah, or hot chocolate. Yeah. And what about music? Do you have a favourite music?
Yeah, I do. I must confess that I like Christian music and a few artists. Growing up, I enjoyed listening to U2, especially in the late 80s, early 90s. Not so much the modern stuff.
Yeah. What's one message you'd like to tell the listeners that take away from today?
Too repetitive. Things I've already said before, but yes, just that I firmly believe that Jesus Christ is the answer to the world's problems. If we all listen to Him and put our faith in Him, the world would be better off, and each of us as individuals would be better off.
Yeah. All right, Dave. It's great to have you on the podcast.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, John. I was so nervous before this, but you're very good at making people relax. So good job.
Oh, thanks, Dave. I'll try my best. I just like to keep things light-hearted, But I want to thank Dave so much for coming on the Berwick Community Podcast. It's been really meaningful conversation. We appreciate your time and your thoughts and insights. I want to thank everyone for listening. Don't forget to follow and share local stories, real people, real stories. Until next time, see you soon. Bye.